Hey guys, welcome to day 5. If you're still here, Terry and I are so proud of you. And most importantly, you should be proud of yourself, because if you can check into this event and follow along for 5 days in a row, you for sure can do 21 days of incorporating these habits into your daily life. And if you can do 21 days, you are well on your way to just feeling like an enhanced well-being and feeling great. So be proud of yourselves. Today we're talking about stillness. I wrote in your workbooks a quote from somebody that I won't bother saying their name because I don't know how to, but the quote is that the body benefits from movement and the mind benefits from stillness. So if we all recognize that our bodies need movement and exercise to be healthy, we also need to recognize that our mind needs the same type of practice and conscious effort to just be still. And that can look like a lot of different things for different people, but that's what we're going to talk about today. So this practice of stillness is not just R&R, it's not just taking time for yourself, but it's deeper than that. It's taking time with yourself. This creates a relationship with ourselves that can be so beneficial. So if I could tell my clients one thing or get them to just really take one thing away from our sessions, it would be that they need to work on this relationship with themselves. And then everything else falls into place. It doesn't matter if you're having relationship problems with somebody else or other issues that you might be having. It's so important to just turn your focus inward and focus on yourself. This inner relationship, it just counteracts the demands of everyday life. It brings us, oh, of course my notes went blank here. 1 second. Okay, it brings us back to the present. It allows us to cope with stress and gives us this ability to let things go more easily. Like when you're really at peace with yourself, that's when all these other stressful things that are really hard to cope with just become easier. We hear so much lately about practicing self-care and how we just really need to do that. And it's true, we do, but self-care practices look different for everyone. And I just really want to question you. Do you know what you need to be practicing for self-care? Yes, for some people that's a hot bath with Epsom salts and essential oils, but for other people who hate baths, like that's not their relaxing time. After this week, I want you to learn that one way to practice self-care is with stillness. Yeah, so I think that's all I wanted to really tell you about that. The action steps that you can take to practice this are many. So one of them is mindfulness. I took the mindfulness-based stress reduction course many years ago, and so much of that has stuck with me. Like I wouldn't have realized it that I loved the content that much taking the course, but when I'm still thinking about it, like 7 years later or whatever it is, that's big. So one way that you can practice mindfulness, which is just basically bringing your awareness to the present moment. So you can do mindful walking, mindful eating, mindful driving, and all that looks like is, well, for example, with eating, and you're not going to do this every time you're eating a meal, but every now and then, if you were just really conscious about what you're doing, it's called mindfulness. So you might have, like I'll just use a sandwich for an example. In your hand, you're going to be thinking about what that sandwich feels like in your hands, what it feels like when you bring it to your mouth, to your lips, what it feels like to chew it, what it smells like, what it tastes like. You're just bringing awareness to each of those steps, and that is what mindful eating would be, which can be practiced like throughout the day with many different things. You could also do something called a body scan. This is something that I have practiced if I'm lying in bed and can't fall asleep. So you're just going to lie or sit quietly and you're going to bring awareness to each part of your body, starting at your toes and working all the way up. There's a lot of guided body scans on YouTube or like scripts on Pinterest, so you can check those out to see how you might actually, what you would say to yourself as you're working through a body scan. Journaling is something else that you can do to practice stillness. So I suggest that you keep your journal in a place where you will do the writing. So for me, that's usually on my nightstand or beside my yoga mat or meditation cushion. And you can begin by just writing 5 things that you're grateful for every day. You can also buy a journal that already has like the prompts written in, so you don't have to do any thinking. You can also just free write, just write whatever comes to mind. Journaling is so beneficial to your well-being, but it's something that I believe you don't notice the true effects from or realize how important it's going to be until you're practicing it. So if you have that journal, start writing in it. And if you don't have one, go out and buy something beautiful, something that you're going to want to open up and write in. Another way to practice stillness is a grounding exercise. So there's lots of different grounding exercises you can do, but one example is a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 exercise. So this is just where you will be still and pause. Take a minute to name 5 things that you can see, 4 things that you can feel, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 good thing about you. So there's that exercise. There's lots more you can find out there. And then the last thing that I want to tell you about stillness is, of course, meditation, and this being the ultimate tool to quiet your mind. I know that meditation can sound off-putting to a lot of people because they think that it's hard, or they just maybe don't like to sit quietly and still with themselves, which, oh, flies, which I think is just a huge piece of self-awareness. If you are finding it difficult or just hard to sit with yourself in quiet time, that's something to be aware of, and probably means that that's something that you need to practice more of. Meditation and mindfulness, or like mindfulness meditation, it does seem hard because it seems like there's this right way that you have to do it, and there really isn't. If you are just sitting quietly and a thought pops in, which of course it's going to because you're human, all you need to do is acknowledge that thought coming in, send it out the other side, and carry on with your meditation. So that happens to everybody. So if you're worried about, I can't meditate because I have too much on my mind, which is the perfect time to do it, I guess, to start your practice of meditation, or you just feel too distracted, like you can't sit still with your thoughts, I just really challenge you to try and keep trying, because that is the point of meditation. So those are your action steps. I will put them in a post so you can read them as well. And just thank you so much for being here with us this week. I hope you found it beneficial. And again, be proud of yourself, because Terry and I are proud of you guys. And we'll talk soon. Terry will be on later today to announce some giveaway winners and just a bit of a wrap up. Okay, bye.